Hello everybody, my name is Ryan, and if I'm a little unenthusiastic for the first part of this video, it's because I filmed this once, memory card fucked me. I filmed this a second time, and the memory card fucked me again. I filmed this a third time, and I forgot to start filming. This is now my fourth time trying to film this, and I will say, this is now my review of Uncharted 4: Thief's End. This game was fantastic, and I really enjoyed it, but maybe I don't think it's as perfect as everyone else did. I think that this game had a lot of highlights and that it did have some lows. I think that the problems in this game were not the biggest thing in the world, but because of how annoying those problems were, they were glaring. So, I will say how much I love this game in a minute. Let's just talk about one of my biggest problems with this game first. There's a level, pretty early on, where you don't have to do anything, and you beat it. And it's not like a cutscene level or like the prologue or anything where it's like, oh, you just need to watch the story and enjoy the pretty pictures and then you go, there you go, because it's just story, that's what this mission's going to be about, this is what this chapter is. No. This was a level where you had to go, I don't want to say what it is, because I don't want to spoil it for you, but you have like 3 other people who are fighting enemies for you. And you can help them, but at no point in that mission did I feel like I needed to help them, or did I feel like I was doing as much work as they were. So I hit restart checkpoint, I went back, and I just hid behind cover the whole time. I did not fight any enemies, and it worked. We won. Like, the mission just went through fine. I just kind of followed the path that they wanted me to go, went through the scripted kind of explosions and stuff that needed to happen, and I was completely fine. And that bothers me because I feel like video games should be harsher than that, where you can't just sit behind while everything else happens. That bothered me because it didn't take anything. The game was built to the point where you have so many people helping you, you didn't need to do anything. You didn't need to help them. I will say that this is fixed at later points in the game, because in later points of the game, the action is great. I gotta say, because early in the game, you're using hand-to-hand stuff, you're using physical combat, just beating people up, and it's great, and you get to use that a little bit later. We'll talk about that with stealth stuff, but the combat in this game, and just the gun combat, is very fun. It's very fast-paced and everything, which I love. I thought that it was fantastic. I think that it was kind of more exciting to just be in like the brawling stuff of just fighting and trying to punch and trying to counter and like doing kind of stealth takedowns and stuff. That felt a lot more fun to me, but there were times when you feel like fucking James Bond in this movie, or you feel like you're in this situation where you're running and you're taking corners and you're trying not to get shot, because why would you want to get shot? So you're trying your hardest. There's a ton of enemies. The map is very expansive, so you're going through a large path at a very quick pace. You're sliding down things, you're using your rope, you're shooting, you're having to get past like this turret where you have to basically distract it while your partner goes around and gets it, or you have to have them distracted, which it's very hard to do because they're a computer, and then you shoot them down. Or if you do it like me, there's that little tiny part in the turret where it's like, here's what I'm looking at you from, and you shoot right in there, and I got that, and that's the most proud I've been in a video game in a long time. I thought that was fantastic. The action in this game, like I said, is very, very fun. It feels like you're James Bond. The music in those scenes are terrific. It's great because you're just in such a high, high energy environment. Everything's going by quickly. The music is intense. You've got like 10 guys shooting at you at one time, but you're still running from point to point, and it's crazy. You're running and you're taking cover and you're shooting as much as you can, but it's very high energy. It's very fast paced. So if that is something you enjoy, basically, if you enjoy the James Bond movies, or like, how about this? If you enjoy the opening to GoldenEye 007, even though it's kind of ridiculous, if you wanted that to be a little bit more realistic and to involve James Bond doing a little bit more stuff, you will love this game. That is how it felt to me playing this, and I thought that was a weird feeling, but it was a very cool feeling. One thing I want to say that's bad, and this is probably the last bad thing I gotta say, is that there were some points, and let's just talk about stealth. Let's just do the whole stealth thing now, because I did like the stealth stuff. The stealth stuff was my favorite, except till I got to the end of it. Like I said, going in like the tall grass and everything, and kind of crouching down and everything, sneaking past your enemies and then coming up and grabbing them and pulling them down is fun, and you go around like a little crocodile. It was terrific. I really enjoyed it. I thought that it was incredibly fun. It felt like sneaky spy stuff, and I loved that. Especially when you're Nathan Drake and you're just like the coolest guy ever, so it's fucking awesome to do that. More James Bond kind of stuff. But there's this point where you get to the end of that, and it's at the end of that where it feels closed but very open, because that's the weird thing. It was a very open environment. We're on like rooftops, jumping from rooftop to rooftop, like climbing up the walls and stuff, and it was, you come up the stairs, you're on a place here, and you just jump down where it's like a human could make, you know, not a video game character, a human could make that and be fine. I'd try to go down there, I'd die. I'd try to jump onto basically like, not even a ledge, but like, you know, I don't know if you know this because maybe you didn't play the game, but you drop down to a lower level when you're holding on to something. You can do that. And there's a thing that I was like, yeah, I'll jump down to that. That looks like exactly like everything else looks like that you jump down to. It didn't work. Flat out just did not work. And that bothered the shit out of me because I tried like 3 times. I'm like, maybe I'm just doing something wrong. Around the 4th time of me trying to do that, I realized, oh, the story doesn't want me to go there, so I can't go there. So it kills me. So it's not even just that like, the story doesn't want to go there and it's like, go, it's like the Battlefield thing is like, you have 10 seconds to go where we want you to go. It's this, you fall down there and then you fall probably like maybe 10, 15 feet and you just go limp and you die, and it's like, you died, start it again, and it's like, oh, that is bullshit. That is one of those things. There was times like that where it's like, it's 2016, I don't want invisible walls or any variation of invisible walls at this point in video games, where it's like, hey, you can't go here. Why not? Because the story says you can. In multiplayer stuff, it makes sense, especially in like dice games where it's like Battlefront or Battlefield, where it's like, don't go beyond this point because this is where we made the map. This is where the cookie cutter came out and took this part of the map. Don't go beyond this, please. And if you do, you're gonna die. Just because, like, this is the battle zone, you're supposed to be fighting the war, go in to fight the war. In this one, it's like, you just can't go here, or you're gonna die, even though you're jumping down 10 feet. Or you're jumping something that shouldn't normally catch you. Bother the shit out of me. However, this is still a great game. Like I said, let's talk about, I've talked about gameplay a bunch now. Going on to the minor things, graphics. I can't honestly remember if I've talked about the graphics in this video because I've already done this video so many times. I don't know if I'm having memories of those videos or this video. Graphics are fantastic. If you're a graphics nitpicker, then of course you're going to love this game because, well, you're going to love it because you have nothing to nitpick about. The graphics look fantastic. If you've not gotten a PS4 by now, this is the time to get a PS4 because this game looked fantastic. It looked probably the closest to life a video game's ever looked, and if it didn't look at real life at some points, because of course, at some points, it's consistently great graphics, but in some points it's like, you can, the lighting and stuff, like it's more video game looking than real life looking, and it's always video game looking, but whatever. Even at those points, it still feels very cool, the graphics still look very great, even at this game's lowest moments in graphics, I couldn't find any graphic glitches, and it was awesome. The villains in this game are cool, the characters are all motivated. You know, you have Sam Drake, who is very cool, Sully back, of course, awesome, he's so great that I play him in the multiplayer. You have Nathan Drake, who's just the coolest guy ever. He's funny, he's making puns, he's humorous, he's jumping from thing to thing, and he's great, love him. The story in this game is terrific, 10 out of 10, because why not? The story is probably the best part of most Naughty Dog games, which I think is just, it's a curse in its own self, where it's like, okay, maybe it's a little bit too much story, but that's not a fault of the story. The story itself is still great, so I can't say it's not a 10 out of 10 story, because it is a 10 out of 10 story. I really enjoyed that. It was more than just like, oh, go rescue the princess. It was a lot more motivation to what a game doesn't need to be. It doesn't need to be this motivation, because for a long time we were playing games where the motivation was, go to this castle, maybe the princess is there, oops, she isn't, go to the next one, oops, she isn't there either, keep going. That was the motivation of video games for a while. No one complained. Now, I don't think story is the biggest deal, but when it's something as great as this, when it's a truly very amazing story, yeah, you gotta praise it. It was great, it was more motivation than I even needed, but it felt like I was experiencing something, like I was part of this more because it gave such intense stories, such cool characters and everything. I really liked it. Have you played this game? What did you think about it? If you did, or if you have not yet, tell me if this review made you want to go buy it, or if you are going to buy it because of this review. I'm genuinely curious to see how persuasive I am, and I will say, this game is worth the money I put into it, and I paid $92 for this game because I live in Canada. I thought that this game was fantastic. It was worth all of my money. The multiplayer is fantastic, so even though I've played the story mode already, it's fine. Like, and there are story modes I want to go back and play. I've not finished it. I've played 10 hours of this game, so I will say that. So maybe the ending is terrible, and at that point I'm sorry, but I've played 10 hours of this, so I feel like I'm good enough to say, yeah, it's good. So I really enjoyed it. I can't wait to... Like, this game already has replayability because there's a trophy where you have to speedrun it and finish it in less than 6 hours, and I can't wait to just do that and waste, like, days doing that, because I know I'm not going to get it the first try. What do you think, though? Are you going to get this game? Do you own this game? Comment your thoughts down below. Give this video a like if you enjoyed. Subscribe for more gaming reviews, more gaming videos. We're going to be doing E3 predictions in the next few days. We're going to be talking about the new Assassin's Creed trailer whenever that comes out, the movie one, but it's video game stuff, so I'm putting it on this channel. We're going to be talking about E3 predictions, if I didn't already say that. If I did already say that, the third one I meant to say was about Star Wars 1313 and the new Respawn game. We're going to be talking about that, and I will see you all next time.